This is why I got an attitude about the story, because somebody else's moment was hijacked. When you woke up in the morning, when all of us woke up in the morning, the story was not how great Versus was. The story was not, ooh, that was a Versus for the history books. The story was not, ooh, Versus was so good. The story is Tamar Braxton, Cash Money No Limit Versus. That, I think that did a disservice to the whole thing. Hijacked somebody else's, and I'm not implying that it was intentional. Somebody else's moment was hijacked. The next morning, none of the stories related to Versus should have had anything to do with the Tamar Braxton. First thing.
So what is it about Birdman that keeps stirring up chaos everywhere he goes? Kamora Lee's kids are calling him Uncle Birdman. Keisha Cole literally threw hands over him. And now Toni and Tamar are going head-to-head over who was actually in his life first. The sisters have been fighting non-stop, with everyone dragging Tamar and accusing her of messing around with Birdman behind Toni's back. But the real shocker? Turns out Toni might have been the one who crossed the line first. Phew. And DA Brat is not letting anyone label Tamar a homewrecker this time. She pulled out receipts claiming Tamar didn't steal Birdman from Toni. Instead, Tamar was with him before Toni ever showed up in the picture. And despite everything, Tamar still tried to stay supportive. But the question is DA Brat telling the truth or just talking nonsense? Because we all remember how people were judging Tamar for being extra close to Birdman, touching on him, rubbing his head, acting like she was the one married to him while Toni, the actual wife, was sitting at home.
Tamar, girl, why are you wiping the sweat off of Birdman's head like that, sis? Now, as a married woman, I think I can grab the mic real quick and speak on this, because even though it may, like, she may be innocently doing it, girl, no, you don't do that. Like, the man's been performing on stage all this time, and he don't need you wiping the sweat off his head. Now, I'm hoping it was just like a gesture, but girl, y'all are all performers. Like, don't do that.
She was acting like Birdman belonged to her, walking around behind him like a proud wife. At one point, she was literally dabbing the sweat off his forehead with a big smile, like she was claiming him publicly. People definitely thought it looked suspicious and started calling her out for crossing the line. Of course, Tamar tried to clear her name. She said she was only supporting her sister and even posted a clip of her and Birdman on FaceTime with Toni, trying to prove everything was cool. But fans weren't convinced at all, because there's a huge difference between cheering on a sibling and clinging onto their man like you're the second wife. Things eventually got heated, especially when Tanda fired shots saying Tamar had actually been involved with Birdman behind Toni's back. And that explosion started when Tamar tried to clown Tanda, bragging that she knew where Tanda lived because she helped pay the down payment on her home.
Do I know where you live?
Well, of course you don't come. So
Exactly.
my thing, I know where you live because I put down your down payment.
Beautiful.
And you've been stealing from me for the past couple years on my credit card.
But Tamar didn't just leave it at that. She went further and called Tawanda out for allegedly running up her credit cards for years without ever asking. And honestly, fans weren't surprised because Tawanda has been accused of dipping into family money before. Remember those claims about her using their mom's social security checks? And the rumors that she took cash from Toni too?
Tawanda, baby, I love her to pieces. But hide your stuff when she come over, because she snatched the wig off your head when you look the other way. She's super sneaky, clever, and crafty.
What makes this even messier is Tawanda's bankruptcy paperwork. It reportedly shows she's in debt for nearly $500,000, and yes, it specifically lists a $35,000 loan from Tamar, which was supposedly meant to help with the down payment on her house. So Tamar's accusations actually come with documentation to support them. It really seems like there's a long history of Tawanda relying on her sister's finances while expecting everyone to stay quiet and let it slide.
You know exactly what you're doing. Don't be looking like that, you snake-ass son of a gun. Okay. You're a snake, and then you like controversy, and you like all of that. Okay. So why would you do that?
But trust me, Tawanda was not about to let Tamar have the last word. Instead, She clapped back hard and accused Tamar of creeping around with her own sister's man behind her back.
And you've been stealing from me for the past couple years on my credit cards and help
But
me.
what you steal?
I don't steal anything.
You don't? You stole men.
Who's the man that I stole?
Tony's. You slept with them.
Oh,
a few times.
Who? What man?
You not get to leave. Oh,
Dirty low-down ass bitch.
Oh, you're such a liar. Such a liar.
And the way
from the way-
Tamar instantly snapped showed she did not see that coming at all. She looked caught off guard and furious. But the one who seemed the most stunned out of everyone was Toni Braxton. She genuinely looked like she didn't know any of this was going on.
Braxton.
Toni Braxton?
Toni
Don't care
Braxton,
about
I got you on
Toni
the phone.
Braxton. No, Toni Braxton ain't never have your back.
I got Toni Braxton.
I want it on
No,
record.
I want it on national
television. You want to say I don't have your back?
You didn't have
Oh,
my back
Lord
when it
Jesus,
came to
give
y'all
me-
little
Tawanda had clearly been holding onto this tea for a long time, just waiting for the perfect moment to throw it in Tamar's face. And baby, when she dropped it with force. From Trina's reaction alone, you could tell she already knew, which is wild. Like, how do you keep something that explosive away from your own sister? One sister creeping with another sister's man? And not even just one. Tawanda claimed it happened with TWO of Toni's exes. At this point, it really feels like the Braxton sisters can't stand each other. Right after Tawanda's bombshell, the internet became full-time detectives trying to figure out which men she meant. Turns out, Tamar was rumored to have messed with Birdman and Kerry Lewis from Mint Condition. That chatter goes way back to 2011, when a blogger accused Tamar of hooking up with Toni's ex-husband just to climb the industry ladder. And to make the situation even worse, the source claimed Toni was actually the one who dated Vince first before Tamar swooped in. A whole sister swap situation. And let's be real, Tamar has been dragged before for getting involved with men who were far from single, like Michael Malden, Jermaine Dupri's father. So when people heard Toni's exes might be on that list too, nobody was shocked. Especially after seeing how cozy Tamar seemed with Birdman. Meanwhile, Tawanda and Trina weren't doing all that smiling and extra love toward him at that Versus event. And his supposedly their brother-in-law too. That alone had fans raising eyebrows. But even with Tamar's messy history, DA Brat stepped in to say this time was different, and that Tamar wasn't the one in the wrong here.
The Brat and Tamar worked on This Nation. They became close, they became friends, whatever. So if you know, the Braxtons came out last week and Tawanda stated that Tamar slept with Toni's ex, yada yada yada. There was a Versus last weekend. Tamar was on stage with Birdman, wiping off his sweat, stopping him from drinking, getting drunk, whatever. Now it's going around that Tamar and Birdman dated back in 2003, and now we know that Toni and Birdman are married.
DA Brat practically laid it out that Tamar and Birdman were involved way back in 2003. And the real twist? That was long before Toni ever matched Tamar with Vince. According to DA Brat, Toni's whole thing with Birdman didn't even start until much later. So dragging Tamar for this doesn't even add up. Even after Toni ended up marrying a man Tamar had dated first, Tamar still chose to be supportive instead of petty. And let's not forget, Tamar has publicly cheered them on before. Remember when she and her son showed up on Halloween dressed exactly like Toni and Birdman? Yeah, supporting the relationship out loud. That's just who Tamar is. DA Brat insists people need to stop acting like Tamar crossed the line here when the timeline proves otherwise. But phew, the internet loves messy business and everyone jumped right in. Folks pointed out that a lot of these famous men act like women are the problem, yet they're the ones passing themselves around while pretending to be players. Meanwhile, Tamar kept making sure that money didn't stop flowing into the Braxton family, something nobody seemed eager to mention. Because if the situation had been reversed, they would have scorched Tamar without thinking twice. Toni always gets a pass from her sisters. Honey. Some older fans even brought up the receipts. There used to be a blog called The Panty Report that spilled tea years ago saying Tamar and Birdman were definitely an item. But supposedly, Birdman got tired of her attitude and that's when she ended up with Vince afterward. Anyway, what's your take on all this drama? Drop your thoughts below, don't forget to hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed. See you in the next one.